Hello, everyone. It's Dr. Karen, the Women's Midlife Specialist. And are you ready to do another lab interpretation? Okay, so this is a lovely 62-year-old, and we're going to call her CP. That's her initials. So she sent me her labs, and she is postmenopausal. She's 62 years old, and this is her current therapy. She is using 4 milligrams of progesterone that she gets over the counter, and I'm assuming she's really using 4 milligrams, and that's not an error. And she's also using a topical Pregnenolone that's over the counter. So this is 4 milligrams topical and Pregnenolone topical. The only thing I question is whether or not this meant to be 4D instead of 4. In any event, either way, it doesn't change what I see or would recommend. Okay, so let's take a look now at what her labs actually show. Now, her estrogen is, which is estradiol, E2, is very low. It's less than 0.5, meaning that it's so low that ZRT really has no range for it. It's lower than what they can measure. Okay, so if it's too low, so low that they can't measure it, they can't provide a progesterone to estrogen ratio because it would be like dividing 0 into the progesterone or 163. It's not applicable. So you can't get a progesterone to estrogen ratio if your estrogen is so low it's not even measurable. Okay, so that's the first thing I see. The second thing I see is that her progesterone is low, but she's also on a very low topical progesterone. There's some surprise there because she's also on pregnenolone. So if we look at this hormone cascade again, pregnenolone is way up here and should be able to provide us some progesterone. So she has still low progesterone, 163, and that's with both pregnenolone and the progesterone, whether it be 4 milligrams topically or 40 milligrams topically. Then if we look at the testosterone, it's also in the lower end of normal, and I'll show you that on graph form, so I want you to be able to read your graphs as well. And then she's got a low DHEA, which is right here. Okay, now she also did cortisol, 4-point cortisol, which is nice. She must be thinking that she has some adrenal dysfunction because she did a 4-point. Though they do fall in the normal range, when we look at her symptoms, we get a better understanding of what is going on with CP. And we also get, when we look at the graphs, also get a look at these levels a little bit better. So here's her first set of graphs. This is the estradiol, lower than expected for even her age range. So if we want to optimize our estradiol and we want to get it up here, in the blue at least, and we want to be closer to a 30-year-old in levels where we're at our strongest, we're got a little ways to go here. Now, if her progesterone is not showing because actually I'm surprised, it should be somewhere right around here, 160. The salivary testosterone is in the low end of normal, and this is her little dot there. And when we go to look at DHEA, she's lower than normal for her age. And here is her salivary cortisol. So even though her cortisol did not show high here, she did it at 9 a.m. So the normal diurnal rhythm of cortisol, this is a little high for 9 a.m. It's not too high for 6 a.m. or 7 a.m., but it's a little high for 9 a.m. And then she kind of plummets down around here at 3. She's got sort of a shift to the right in her graph, but this is why it didn't show any abnormal ranges. However, when ZRT compares reference range to your levels, they're looking at you doing your first morning saliva cortisol a little earlier in the day, around 7 a.m. So that's what that means. Now, CP might be more of the type of person to wake up a little later. That's also more indicative of adrenal dysfunction as well. Adrenal fatigue does not do well in the early morning hours. So now if we go on down to symptoms, I have a feeling that she's probably somebody who doesn't complain much because she looks pretty good here. But let's see, we've got decreased libido. These are in the moderate range. Morning fatigue, sensitivity to chemicals, stress, cold body temperature, sugar craving. That is sugar craving, obviously adrenal. Cold body temperature can be thyroid and metabolism, stress, chemical sensitivity to chemicals. Okay, so let's see. We got decreased libido, hip gain, waist gain, decreased stamina, decreased muscle size. And here's some more. I could go on down, but here's what I really want you to focus on. ZRT does a nice job for us in putting these into categories to allow us to see what are our top complaints. So I generally try to look at the top 3. Sometimes people are equal, but when they're this different, I like to look at the top 3. So when you look at CPs, the one that is the highest is actually low cortisol. So if she had done her cortisol at 7 in the morning or 6 in the morning, we might have seen that very low. We may actually be seeing that high because it's 9 o'clock. Or we could simply be seeing low cortisol symptoms even though she's not in the end stage of adrenal fatigue, but really more stage 2 adrenal fatigue. So I'm going to, one day, it's on the calendar, my lovely ladies, to really teach you the stages of adrenal fatigue. I believe we put that in the calendar for January of 2019. In any event, you're going to get it all. Now, we also see the next one is right here, and that's low androgens, DHEA and testosterone, and then hypometabolism or a low thyroid. So we've got low cortisol symptoms appear to be playing the largest role, and then low androgens and low metabolism are next in line. Okay, so let's go to let's go here and talk about what I feel will be best for CP to get her nice and tuned up. The optimal thing that I feel would be good for CP is to start with hormone support. Now, hormone support is estriol, E3, and progesterone. Now, this is not in addition to what she's currently using. I would stop the 4 milligrams or the 40 milligrams of progesterone and probably even the pregnenolone. I just don't think that that's doing anything for you. It's not showing any improvement in anything. You're still low in all of these. So I'm not comfortable with that pregnenolone's reliability or in your conversion over to adequate hormones from the pregnenolone. It could be enzymes, it could be simply metabolism, it could be nutritional deficiencies. In any event, I would start from scratch and I would use hormone support. Now, that's not going to increase your estradiol. Now, this is low, so I don't suspect your estrone is elevated because estrone being elevated would also give you some estradiol. But this won't really elevate your estradiol, but that's fine. That's perfectly fine because what it will do, it will increase your estriol, and though estriol is not nearly as strong as estradiol, it will still provide you with a lot of benefits that estradiol provides you with as well. And I'm choosing it only because I don't know you and you're 62 years old. So we're kind of starting a little late, about 10 years, likely 10 years post-menopause on you. So that's why I'm choosing hormone support. That low estradiol, as long as you're supporting it with estriol, you'll be okay. Now, Would I change my mind if I found out that you had a low body mass index? I probably would. If I would change my mind, and I would recommend hormone heaven, even though you're 10 years postmenopause or close to it. I would, because that small amount of estradiol that you would get in hormone heaven would give you adequate support of both estradiol and estriol, and I wouldn't have to worry about levels going high with someone who has a low BMI because your estrogen levels are low. But being that I don't know you, this product here by itself is going to give you adequate uh, uh, balance between your estriol and your progesterone. Your ratio progesterone to estradiol will still be non-applicable because it will not increase your estradiol. Now, hormone heaven, if you took 2 pumps of that twice a day instead of hormone support, it will give you a normal optimal range of progesterone to estradiol ratio of 100 to 500. So if you are on the thin side, go for it. Go for the hormone heaven. If you're not on the thin side because you didn't specify here, so I don't have anything to go by there, then go for the hormone support. That's the best that I could do there. Okay, now what about DHEA? We're low here, and we really need DHEA to support the adrenal glands. And so I'm going to recommend DHEA 5 milligrams by mouth in the morning each day for a month, and then pop that up to 10 milligrams, and that will serve you quite well. Now, let's take a look a little bit more at your cortisol, this low cortisol symptoms, and why I am recommending one or the other of these products. First of all, let's talk about the metabolism. So that is in your top 3 complaints, and you never want to treat a low thyroid before you get your adrenal glands stronger. And the reason is, if you've watched some of these other lab interpretations, then you will know that if we stimulate the thyroid gland, if we give thyroid medication and the adrenal glands aren't ready to handle it, it's going to make you more tired. It's going to put more stress on your body. The adrenal glands have to be ready to boost the thyroid. And many times once you correct the adrenal glands and heal the adrenal glands, the thyroid starts working well on its own, because the thyroid, the brain is very smart, and it says, hey, my adrenal glands are extremely tired. I am going to slow down my metabolism so my adrenal glands don't have to work so hard. So there you go. So we want to look into thyroid dysfunction. We want to support testosterone and DHEA, and we're going to support testosterone by using this DHEA. However, we also want to support the adrenal glands. So we have 2 options. One is Adrenal. Adrenal is an orthomolecular product that I love, pharmaceutical grade, so I've trusted explicitly. So Adrenal has an adrenal glandular product in it. So this is very good if you have difficulty waking up in the morning and you have a lot of low cortisol symptoms. If, on the other hand, you have any anxiety or you have no problem waking up in the morning, I generally recommend Adrenavive. The difference between these two is that Adrenavive has no glandular in it, so we're not stimulating the adrenals at all. In fact, we're not increasing the metabolism at all by adding some adrenal glandulars. So once the thyroid dysfunction is ruled out, start with 2 caps in the morning of Adrenal. If your adrenal glands are fatigued, this is going to boost you a lot faster than just Adrenavive. Okay, so if the thyroid function is not checked first, you might want to start with Adrenavive for a few months and then switch to Adrenal. So you're making the adrenal glands a little healthier, and then you're going to switch to Adrenal. So I hope that makes some sense for you. And if not, you know where I am, and I'm delighted to answer questions under the video. Just go ahead, ask what you like, and don't forget, give me a thumbs up. Let me know you like this video, all of you who are watching and learning how to become now lab interpretation brainiacs. Okay, guys, have a wonderful day, and I will actually see you tomorrow with 2 more lab reviews. We're going to be doing more lab reviews during the day and put them on at either at 6 p.m., 8 p.m., maybe 10 a.m. We're going to be doing this because we've got a lot to accomplish in the next month and a half. Okay, have a wonderful day. Bye-bye.